Cool it can be to leave stuff everywhere. Like security is like so heightened right now. Even with the tripod.
Tripod back there?
Yeah. So like no.
All right, well we'll move to the store later. If I see something going, it's only it's fine. I know this stuff there. Okay, Chris, it's Scott Broom. I'm in front of the camera and I'm ready to do something when you tell me. Oh, we were streaming. Oh my God. I just said something on the stream. Okay. There we go. All right, very good. You need a 3 count to do this? Very good, thank you. Hi everybody, Scott Broom. I'm down here on the east side of the Capitol this afternoon as the security posture in the wake of yesterday's events here at the Capitol. We're finally seeing it being ramped up. We're seeing the results of all the decisions that have been made overnight and today regarding security. First and foremost, on both sides of the Capitol, this is the kind of fencing that's going up around the entire perimeter. This is the same fencing we saw going up during protests during the summer. Similar type of fencing. It appears as though there's going to be a perimeter completely around the Capitol, and the fencing going up right now as we speak. In addition to all of that, on the other side of the street, we can see many of the National Guardsmen and a contingent of Virginia State Police who've now taken positions with their patrol cars just about every 100 yards up and down this fence line. So it's Virginia State Police, I see U.S. Capitol Police, and then I see guardsmen, not sure from what state exactly, on the other side of that as well. We've been told by Mayor Bowser in a briefing a little bit before noon today that now the U.S. Capitol is protected by no less than 850 law enforcement and National Guard personnel. And this is the posture, she said, that is going to be adopted here at least until the inauguration. Elsewhere today, here at the corner, East Capitol and First Street, we have gatherings of onlookers, some media, and some people gathering with Trump flags, MAGA hats, etc. Some of them have been apparently oblivious to the gravity of what was going on yesterday, at least in the minds of some local D.C. residents who were watching, would stand here in the center of the street and take essentially celebratory tourist photographs, thumbs up, big smiles, no masks. And that is, you know, the simmering tensions are just below that. We've had some people riding by on bicycles shouting at them, "Get out of my city." Another individual just rode past on a bike screaming 25th Amendment. That caused an individual here on the sidewalk to aggressively chase the cyclist. The Capitol Police tried to react to that. That's, compared to the events of yesterday, nothing serious, but it gives you a sense that this is still a location, things like the fencing and the security, it's attracting people who want to see, and it is creating the potential for some conflict that we've seen. It's just simmering and underlying all of this among the people who are around here as onlookers, bystanders, trying to watch all this. Now, a lot of the reporting I've been doing today and assigned to be doing is to talk to leaders about preparedness. The U.S. Capitol Police yesterday, Mayor Bowser, in her comments today, flat out said, in her opinion, they were completely unprepared regardless of the scale of the attack. There have been a number of members of Congress who've said the same thing. The chief of the Capitol Police is Stephen Sund. He did issue a written statement today trying to explain some of what was going on. He did point out that at the time things turned critical here at the Capitol, his police force was dealing with 3 other simultaneous crises. Those crises included pipe bombs that needed to be investigated nearby at the buildings, headquarters of the Republican National Committee and the Democratic National Committee, and a suspicious vehicle near here at, I believe it was 3rd and East Cap Southeast. And so the suggestion there was that his team was trying to deal with an assault on the Capitol and these other 3 crises all at the same time. He pointed out that, described his officers' actions as valiant, heroic. Sund said in his statement that no less than 50 U.S. Capitol Police and MPD officers were injured, some seriously, some in the hospital. He didn't have a full accounting of those injuries and exactly who was hurt. He described the shooting that occurred inside the Capitol, describing it as one of his officers shooting at one of the attackers who was apparently trying to move through the Capitol at the same time that officers were trying to evacuate and protect members of Congress who were still in the chamber. So some details additional from Chief Sund, the chief of the U.S. Capitol Police today, on what occurred. He said that the U.S. Capitol Police is used to dealing with what he called First Amendment protests of all types. But he said this was not a First Amendment protest, and that he had never seen an event like this in 30 years on the U.S. Capitol Police. So those are an example of some of the statements, written statements, that have come from the chief of the U.S. Capitol Police, Stephen Sund, today. He said everything here will be fully investigated, and of course everybody involved is calling for a full investigation. My colleague behind the camera, Jesse Varner, is now showing you pictures of some of the National Guard troops who are being deployed now on this perimeter where the fence is going up. This is a posture that's going to be exactly like this, at least through the inauguration, according to Mayor Bowser in her briefing today. So I know there are a lot of folks asking, where were the reinforcements like this and the preparations like this yesterday? But that's history. Here's what's ahead. A fence, a perimeter going up around the entire United States Capitol in preparation for the inauguration and whatever events occur between now and then. The city, the streets down here have been relatively quiet. There's just not a lot of traffic compared to normal activity, even during this pandemic era. People are staying away from downtown. There are some people we're seeing driving by in vehicles with Trump flags and MAGA flags. They're clearly, if they weren't protesters or rioters yesterday, they appear to be clearly, certainly sympathetic to what occurred here yesterday. And as I reported, we just saw a minor conflict between one of those people and an individual riding his bicycle past them screaming, "25th Amendment, bro, 25th Amendment." And the U.S. Capitol Police tried to react to that, but the cyclist ran off, and the individual who was enraged and chasing him broke the chase off. I think the Capitol Police had a chat with him, but I don't believe there were any arrests and all that. Speaking of arrests, we do know there were at least 53 arrests yesterday. The vast majority of them were for violations of the curfew, but some of them were quite serious, including at least 5 cases of individuals who were accused of having weapons here. You look at the video yesterday, there were you could see all kinds of weapons deployed. The U.S. Capitol Police Chief described them as pipes and chemical irritants. I think anybody who saw the video yesterday could both see people with pipes as well as individuals with flagpoles shooting pepper spray at officers who did not seem to be prepared for it. Some of them did not have masks or shields, and they were taking pepper spray. We also saw individuals out here with laser devices flashing them into the eyes of the police officers who were trying to defend the Capitol yesterday. So most certainly the officers involved here yesterday were attacked with weapons of all kinds. And it was a very difficult situation for them, as Chief Son pointed out in his statement today. Regardless of the fact, lots of people continue to ask questions about what happened. All right, so behind me now, you can see the fencing is still going up, and there's still folks walking by. Here comes a family with kids. Appear to be the type of tourists you see around the Washington area all the time, strolling by on a beautiful winter afternoon as if nothing occurred in front of National Guardsmen who've been deployed after what happened yesterday. Cell phones up, taking pictures. And as I reported a short time ago, down at the intersection and in front of the Supreme Court, there's been a small gathering of people who appear to be sympathetic with the people who were demonstrating and rioting yesterday. Continuing to look now at the Capitol and the fencing going up. Notably, that's the same kind of fence that is up protecting Lafayette Park at Black Lives Matter Plaza, which is fencing that's now been completely covered with messages in support of the Black Lives Matter movement. And that's the same type of fencing that went up there right after the pushback of protesters and the president walking across the street and holding a Bible upside down in front of the church there. This is the same type of fencing, and a lot of it, that's going to go up and surround the Capitol right now. And they've installed now on this side, since we've been here about an hour and a half, they've been able to install about a city block and a half. They're beyond the halfway point on this side. So this fencing is going up quickly. Again, the reinforcements are now here and things are calm. Mayor Bowser told us in her briefing today that there are no less than 850 personnel now protecting the Capitol. That's going to be U.S. Capitol Police, Metropolitan Police officers who are going to no doubt handle the city streets outside the perimeter here. We have just down the street from me Virginia State Police, who I believe sent troopers in the hundreds. I wish I had the exact number for you. And my partner Jesse behind the camera is showing you they're making a show of this by lining their Virginia State Police cars up. Looks like about one every 100 yards. Again, to make it clear what this perimeter is. It's secure and no one's allowed to approach it. Officers have been approaching us and passersby who, because of the traffic, I mean, the street's open, but the traffic's been light, and onlookers and others have been sort of out in the street milling around. The guardsmen and the police officers have just essentially taken the street and told everyone they can't step off the curb. The street's a no-go zone, and obviously what's beyond the fence is a complete no-go zone. So it's calm, it's quiet, it's somber. At the same time, there's some supporters of the protesters here who are in a celebratory mood. There have been some people passing by with flags shouting, and some minor conflicts indicating the real tensions that are bubbling right below the surface. But unlike yesterday, there's a huge number of both law enforcement and military personnel to deal with anything that may or may not occur. Thanks for being with us this afternoon.